friends, I'm Betty Rage, your favorite nerdy goth mom, and this is Lashes and Lore. And today, we're spinning a web of intrigue around the most manipulative, backstabbing, and utterly fabulous deity in all of Dungeons & Dragons, Lolth, the demon queen of spiders. So forget your boring, lawful good gods, sweetie, because Lolth is chaos and ambition wrapped in venom and silk. She is the deity who invented gaslighting, perfected passive aggression, and has more plots than a fantasy novel convention. And if you thought your family drama was bad, just wait until you meet the Drow. So let's get into it. Oh, and if you're wondering what kind of darkly alluring secrets that I will be slathering on my face today, the product list is down in the description below, because I'm here to sell you a story, not products. All right, so who is Lolth, other than the terrifying queen of the Underdark? At her core, Lolth is the demon queen of spiders, the wicked deity that is primarily worshipped by the Drow, or dark elves. We've talked about the Drow a lot on this channel. I have a 3-part series on one of the most famous Drow in all of D&D, Drizzt. But Lolth's portfolio is deliciously chaotic. She is the goddess of deceit, assassination, spiders, and the very essence of the Underdark itself. Her vibe? Pure chaotic evil. She doesn't just tolerate conflict. She thrives on it. Betrayal and the constant testing of her followers are literally her favorite pastime. She is the ultimate frenemy, empowering her worshippers only to set them against each other, ensuring that only the most cunning and ruthless survive. Lolth's symbolism is instantly recognizable. I mean, spiders, of course, but also intricate webs, profound darkness, insidious poison, chilling beauty, and utter corruption. She is basically the ultimate villainess. The queen bee who never left high school, except her cliques are matriarchal spider-worshipping families, and her gossip involves ritual sacrifice. She's not evil. She's extra evil, so whatever that is. But Lolth hasn't always been this way. Before she was the terrifying spider queen we all love to hate, Lolth had a truly scandalous backstory. Her lore roots deep into the lore of the elves, long before Drow even existed as we know them. So let's grab some tea and spill some divine dirt on her and her shady past through the editions of D&D. There's a lot to go through, so here we go. In the earliest versions of her lore, Lolth wasn't always a demon. She began as Arachnid was her name. She was a powerful elven deity. She was a consort to Corlan, who was the head honcho of Seldarin, the elven pantheon. And basically, he was the ultimate lawful good pretty boy of the elves, but like also that guy in charge, the main god. Anyways, Arachnid, Lolth, before she became Lolth, she was also the mother to 2 iconic Drow deities, Aliestri and Varun. Varain, however you say it. It was the original. It started with a kiss and ended up in a galactic civil war kind of drama, but driven by jealousy, ambition, and a thirst for power that even I find impressive. Arachnid began to scheme. She began to orchestrate plots to corrupt the elven race, attempted to betray Corlan, and generally tried to usurp his power. This divine domestic dispute escalated to a massive cosmic war. In the end, Corlan banished her from Seldarin, while also transforming her into the demonic entity that we know today. She was cast down into the abyss, and her followers, the original dark elves who sided with her, were also cursed and cast into the depths, becoming the very first Drow. Her journey through the different D&D editions has seen her pull some truly iconic power moves, starting with AD&D and 2nd edition. This is where she solidified her reputation. She was depicted as the supreme manipulative force behind the Drow, often testing her priestesses and followers with challenges that were simply impossible. And if you failed her, the consequences were messy. Then in the 3rd edition, she pulled the ultimate passive-aggressive move, the Silence of Lolth, where she simply vanished. Imagine your most toxic ex ghosting you for years just to see if you would survive without them. Some of us would probably wish that our most toxic ex would just ghost us for years, right? Can I get an amen? But this was a massive plot point in D&D lore. It led to a widespread chaos among the Drow. The matriarchal houses, they desperately vied for power without their patron goddess's direct guidance, and even allowed other deities like Eliestri to gain a foothold again. See, the passive-aggressive gaslighting, it's growing, because then in 4th and 5th edition, after her silent treatment, Lolth returned to prominence, and sometimes even more directly active, constantly solidifying her role as the ultimate Drow deity. She still relishes in their eternal strife because the constant fighting ensures that only the strongest and most loyal survive. Through all of her transformations and betrayals, its core nature remains consistent. A manipulative, power-hungry deity who thrives on chaos, tests her followers to their absolute most limits, and holds an eternal grudge. Also proof that a true villain really never dies, they just get a fabulous new rebranding. Now, we can't really talk about Lolth without going into the Drow, her very special little twisted darlings. The Drow, the Dark Elves, they were cast out into the eternal night of the Underdark so that they could stay alongside their queen. And babes, we've discussed the Drow before. They're a little less family values and a lot more every single one of us is trying to stab each other in the back for a mom's approval. That's just their whole vibe. And Drow society is brutally matriarchal, meaning that the females hold all of the power. They're the priestesses, the house rulers, the ones pulling all of the strings and the spider silk. And the men, bless their little hearts, they do serve a role. It's usually a much lower, less powerful one than the women and priestesses. They are warriors, servants, and they're constantly trying to navigate a world that openly tells them that they are less important than the women. It's competitive, and it's cruel, and it's utterly driven by Lolth's tenets of chaos and ambition. The noble houses are constantly fighting for power, and backstabbing isn't just a metaphor, it's literally a way of life. Alliances are fleeting, and trust is just a foreign concept. Okay, we're gonna take a little sidebar for a moment. Yeah, I'm gonna take my dinosaurs with strawberries on them off my face for this part. It's controversial and a little unfortunate that the only real matriarchal society in this world really paints the women in a very harsh light. Just because a society is run by a specific sex doesn't mean that the other one needs to be put down. Okay, just saying. That's unfortunate. And if you are playing in D&D and are dealing with Drow and Lolth, it's totally okay for you to not treat men the way that women are treated in society today, in our patriarchal society, because maybe we can be better than that. Okay, moving on. The constant infighting is exactly how Lolth wants it. She maintains her iron-fisted control through fear, through the granting and terrifying retraction of divine favor, and by actively encouraging this eternal back and forth among her followers. No one can ever become too powerful, too secure or too complacent, because that would threaten her supremacy. She's powerful, but she got some issues. She got issues. She uses their ambition against them, turning them into perfect, pliable pawns in her hands. I don't know why I wrote perfect, pliable pawn, knowing my own issues with just speaking in general, but I did. Anyways, so if you've ever had a toxic family Thanksgiving, imagine that, but everyone has poison daggers underneath the table, spiders in their hair, and grandma is literally telling you to murder your cousin, for a better seating arrangement. That's the Drow, and honestly, it's magnificent chaos. And if a Drow fails to meet her utterly impossible, ever-shifting standards, Lolth really isn't one for second chances, babe. Her wrath is terrible, often resulting in a horrifying transformation, like into a drider. I'll put a picture of a drider, although it's probably on this side. I don't know. Drider. Imagine failing your queen and then being turned into a grotesque half-drow, half-spider thing, and forever outcasted and hunted by your kin. It's her way of saying you really weren't good enough and now you're just ugly prey for the rest of them. It's some messy stuff here. I was going to call it tough love, but honestly, I think it's more just pure evil. Yeah, so let's talk manifestation. What happens when this queen of chaos wants to grace her minions with her presence, or at least hint at it? Lolth really isn't one for direct, messy confrontations, unless absolutely necessary, babe. She's far too elegant for that. Her divine toolkit is exactly what you would expect from a demon queen of spiders. She commands spiders, obviously, but from the little tiny venomous ones to great big, horrifying monstrosities. She weaves darkness and illusion as easy as her priestesses spin silk, twisting perceptions, hiding her true intentions, and her favorite party trick, shape-shifting. She can appear as a terrifyingly beautiful drow woman, often surrounded by shadows and an aura of dread. Fabulous. Or, more famously, as a colossal venomous spider. Sometimes she's a grotesque hybrid of both, just to keep you on your toes. Now, remember, she does have literal demonic aspect. Her origins as a banished deity turned demon lord tie her directly to the abyss. Specifically, her horrifying domain, the Demonweb Pits. Sounds fun. I feel like I have spider webs all over me. Okay, let's keep going. The Demonweb Pits are an infinite plane of interwoven webs, traps, and horrors that are constantly shifting and expanding like a cosmic mood ring. Love that for her. But when it comes to interacting with mortals, Lolth is less about direct intervention and more about whispers, manipulation, and tantalizing visions. She rarely just smites someone. She prefers to grant power and then suddenly arrange for that power to corrupt them, or for their ambition to lead to their downfall. Her gifts always come with a price, usually involving some kind of betrayal or eternal servitude, or a really nasty spider bite. All of which sounds like a hard pass. She's not the kind of deity that will smite you, really. She'll make you smite yourself and then laugh in a condescending tone while your corpse gets wrapped in silks. She's really just too busy for direct confrontation. Because, babes, she has a reputation to uphold. And while you might find it shocking, even the Queen of Chaos has her own enemies. And when you are this manipulative and this powerful and this extra, you actually are bound to actually collect a few of them. But in true Lolth form, her rivalries, they are the stuff of legend, full of divine drama that makes reality TV look like a tea party. Her primary, most enduring enemy is, of course, Coralon, the head of Sildarin. She was his consort before her fall. We talked about him a few minutes ago. Anyways, their relationship is the definition it's complicated because he banished her and she is constantly trying to corrupt his creation. And honestly, their cosmic feud is basically the foundation of D&D elven lore. Like, imagine being the ex that just won't go away. Some of you don't have to imagine. JK, well, I don't know. I don't know you. Except your ex is an all-powerful elven god. And you're the demon queen of spiders. And your passive-aggressive jabs at him manifest entire societies that are built on eternal war. So complicated much, yeah. But good for us because the drama does not stop there. Lolth has family issues too. But I mean, who doesn't? We all do. I think I choked on some powder. Love that for me. Okay, so there's Aliestrie, one of my favorites. Love this. We'll do a video for Aliestrie. Anyways, Aliestrie is the good drow goddess of song and dance, moonlight and beauty. She's Lolth's daughter, and she represents everything that Lolth despises. Hope, freedom, and a path for the drow to return to the surface world and to light. Aliestrie is constantly working against her mother's influence, always trying to offer redemption to the drow, which, as you can imagine, absolutely infuriates Lolth. But then we have Veyron, Lolth's son and Aliestrie's brother. He is the drow deity of thievery, shadow, and male drow. But Veyron openly despises his mother's matriarchal rule and constantly schemes to usurp her power, particularly to alleviate the male drow. He is ambitious and shadowy, but just as manipulative as his mother, just with a completely different agenda. It's classic family power struggle, really, but with, more divine magic and less polite conversation. But beyond the family feuds, Lolth has a few other complicated relationships with some other ancient evils lurking in the Underdark. She often finds herself at odds with entities like Gonadar, an ancient, amorphous outer god of oozes, slimes, and outcasts. Yeah, gods of oozes, slimes, and outcasts. He's often drawn to the drow, though, offering a different kind of chaotic power, which Lolth hates, which I think is probably why he enjoys it so much. She sees these ancient pre-drow powers as encroaching on her domain. It's like a turf war, but with more tentacles and less actual turf. She really doesn't like to share. No, not at all. And while her drow followers may clash with surface worlders like humans, surface elves, dwarves, these are generally not targets or obstacles, not true divine rivals for Lolth herself. Her biggest drama, babes, it's always with the gods. The ones who know her best. The ones that she's already betrayed. Or the ones who dare to challenge her absolute domain over her dark children. And what is Lolth's grand master plan, you may ask? World domination? Nah, babes. She's far more interesting than that. Her true in-game, it's not conquest. It's perpetual strife. She thrives on the constant backstabbing, the unending power struggles within the drow, and the eternal conflict between her followers and everybody else. The chaos fuels her, empowers her. She doesn't want the drow to win and rule the surface. She wants them to wage endless, glorious, self-destructive war. To her, that's the ultimate reality show. And she's the executive producer who never wants it to be canceled. Work, that is so pretty. It's pretty. So, babes, after all of this talk of betrayal and backstabbing and a goddess who demands constant infighting, you may be wondering, why do we even care about Lolth? Why is she such an enduring D&D icon in D&D lore? And honestly, the answer is as complex and alluring as she is. We love to hate her. Oh my god, I really don't want to mess up black. Hang on a second. Okay, We love to hate her because she's not just evil, she's chaos personified. She embodies the absolute worst of ambition and cruelty, yet she does it with a terrifying intelligence and a seductive, dangerous charm. She is the ultimate manipulator, forcing her followers into impossible moral dilemmas and testing their loyalty in brutal ways. And this kind of complexity makes her compelling, not just as a villain in a D&D campaign, but as a fascinating study in divine malevolence. From a player's perspective, Lolth's influence creates incredibly compelling narratives. Her constant test and demand for betrayal mean that Drow characters, or any characters dealing with Drow society, are always facing impossible choices. They're navigating a world where trust is a liability and power is gained through ruthlessness. It's a masterclass in moral erosion and desperate ambition. And honestly, her aesthetic is just a chef's kiss if you're into that whole goth spider queen thing, which clearly I dig it. And Lolth's enduring popularity stems from this unique blend of raw power, intricate manipulation, and a completely alien morality. She is a villain who truly challenges players, not just with combat, but difficult decisions that echo long after you stop rolling. So we have our final look. Oh yeah, my hair's purple now. I didn't mention anything about that in the beginning, but she lavender. So there you have it, my little glitter goblins. Lolth, the demon queen of spiders, the original mean girl, and the most tragically fabulous deity in all of Dungeons & Dragons. And if you enjoyed Lolth, you should check out this video that I did on the Underdark over here. I'm Betty Rage, your favorite nerdy goth mom, and this is Lashes and Lore, where the lore is deep, the eyeliner is deeper, and the emotional damage is basically currency. Be good to each other, love each other, and as always, free mom hugs from me to you. Bye! I'll see you next time.